On a high-stakes night, dozens of law enforcement vehicles surrounded a remote property to arrest Blane and Susan Barksdale. The married couple had escaped custody during a cross-country transport for murder charges by tricking and overpowering guards. Their capture was recorded in U.S. Marshals' night vision footage.
The U.S. Marshals video captures the arrest on a night vision camera.
Pepper ball or something deployed. They got hands on him now. Like less lethal deployed.
On this journey, we look into the tragic case of Frank Bligh and the couple who betrayed him, Blane and Susan Barksdale. Frank Bligh, a 72-year-old Air Force veteran, was kind and close to his siblings. He had been a longtime friend of Susan Barksdale's, but after she started dating Blane, Frank felt something was amiss. On April 7, 2019, Frank was last seen at a local bar. His brother Skip couldn't reach him and grew worried. 9 days later, Skip called Susan, but a strange man answered and hung up. That same day, Skip reported Frank missing. Police then discovered Frank's house had caught fire and exploded. His body wasn't found, and his car was missing. When the car turned up abandoned, police believed Frank's body had been hidden in its trunk. He owned 100 guns and valuable items. Robbery was likely the motive. Later, police arrested Blane's nephew Brent for helping with the crime. Skip believed Brent was forced to follow orders. In May, Blane, 55, and Susan, 58, were named suspects, but they had already fled Arizona. The couple sold some of Frank's guns and traveled to New York. Police caught them on May 24th in Henrietta, near the Canadian border. They were held in jail while awaiting return to Arizona. But on August 26th, while being transported back by a private van, they escaped during a stop in Blanding, Utah.
My understanding is when they left the jail that morning to leave for Arizona, that they were in a belly chains, and right outside in Utah, the Barksdales complained that they had intestinal issues, and they needed to go to the bathroom. And when they pulled over in the van to let them use the restroom and take care of their personal needs, that's when they overpowered them and forced them into the back of the van and left the area. The third prisoner, who was being transported to Tucson, was very cooperative. He was wanted in Pima County for improper use of credit cards. It wasn't a violent crime, and he had this individual had an opportunity to also escape, but he wanted nothing to do with this situation and cooperated.
The Barksdales used the guards' keys to free themselves from their chains and took control of the van. They drove to a remote town in Apache County, Arizona, where they picked up a friend's truck to continue their escape. The guards, a man and a woman, weren't armed. A handgun was locked in the van, but the Barksdales didn't take it, possibly unaware it was there. They stole about $30 from the guards' wallets but didn't harm them. Instead, they locked the guards in the van and left them stranded in the desert. Terrified and trapped, the guards eventually escaped by kicking out a window. By then, the Barksdales were gone, driving a red 2004 GMC Sierra pickup truck. A nationwide manhunt began. Arizona highways displayed alerts, warning the public. But even after 2 weeks, the Barksdales were still on the run.
We believe, based on tips, calls into the Marshal Service, from informants, from interviews, that the Barksdales were possibly in east of the Snowflake area. And east of Snowflake, Arizona, several miles, and going for probably 20 miles, are a lot of people who live off the grid, Some are anti-government people. Some are good people. They just want to stay away and lead their lives. We have a lot of drug dealers in the area who are involved in methamphetamine use and sales, and it is a very difficult area to do surveillance and for people to come forward. We spent almost 2 weeks, over 40 deputies, and also working with our partners with Apache County, Navajo County, DPS, FBI, and Tucson PD, working this case around the clock since their escape on the 26th. And as I mentioned, we have not had any solid leads where they might be.
Police thought the Barksdales were hiding in a quiet desert area in northeastern Arizona. The place had many dirt roads, ranches, old cabins, trailers, and even drug and survival camps. The red truck they were driving was gone. Phones and radios didn't work well there, which made it hard to search. Police looked for them by car and by helicopter. They believed the couple might have guns they took from Frank Bligh. Officers told people not to go near them if seen. Police searched homes, used warrants, and even arrested some people while trying to find the Barksdales.
I want to stress, we were concentrating very heavily in the Snowflake area, in the Navajo County area and into Apache County area because of the type of people that he associated with that lived in that area, people that he had gang affiliations with. And it was a pretty good gamble. It really was. But I must add that they could be anywhere in the U.S. So we were keeping our eyes open. We don't want to put blinders on to think that that's the only place they could have snuck off into New Mexico. We don't believe they're in Mexico, but. Running, as I mentioned, we have 40 or plus deputy marshals and FBI's assisting and Tucson PD tracking down hundreds and hundreds of leads and going back historically that you normally do on these type of investigations and other investigative efforts that we do on.
By September 9th, the U.S. Marshals were losing patience. They increased their efforts. Blane was added to their top 15 most wanted list, and the reward for his capture rose to $25,000. A separate $10,000 reward was offered for Susan. Following the Barksdales' escape, reporters questioned why they weren't flown back and why a private security company, rather than law enforcement officers, was handling their transport.
It happens a lot in the United States with sheriff's departments, with budgets shrinking. They have fugitives around the country that need to be extradited back home, and instead of using sworn police officers, a lot of agencies will use private security companies to pick up prisoners and bring them back.
2 days after Blane Barksdale was put on the most wanted list, a tip led police to a remote home in Pumpkin Center, Gila County. Over 50 officers surrounded the property. Susan came out tearfully and said Blane was inside. Blane at first refused to surrender. When he did, he acted aggressively and was subdued with a stun gun and beanbag rounds before being arrested. Back in Tucson, neighbors felt relief but also sadness over Frank's tragic death. His brother Skip was still left wondering why it all happened.
Frank's brother Skip was left to wonder why all this happened.
I'm happy that they're caught. I'm sad that they did this to him. I wish they didn't. It's a tragedy.
I mean, he's a Vietnam vet. He served Vietnam. He got on the Air Force Reserve. He served his country. I don't think I never ever heard him once say anything bad about anybody. Even Sue. He liked Sue and everything that what she did and everything. But as far as I'm concerned, that when she met Blane, she turned into the Black Widow.
The COVID pandemic delayed the court process, so the Barksdales spent 3 years in jail before their case ended. In late 2021, both made plea deals. Susan pleaded guilty to manslaughter and got 5 years. Blane pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and got 22 years. Both got credit for time already served. Blane's nephew, Brent Mard, admitted to setting Frank's house on fire. In 2022, he got 7 years of probation and had to attend a drug and alcohol program. In a sad twist, Frank had trusted Susan to handle his final wishes after death. Frank's brother Skip shared this painful detail during his court statement.
But Sue, she was going to be the executor of my brother's trust. Some reason, my brother had the trust, all the Bible, the information in his house, and Blane and her stole it. And they went in somewhere, I mean, it was in one of the reports, and they went somewhere, and I guess they went through the thing, and they ended up burning the whole thing. Now, that was my brother's life, and his last wishes were up in flames.
As part of his plea deal, Blane had to reveal where Frank's body was. On January 4th, 2022, police found Frank's remains deep in the Salt River Canyon, where he had been since 2019. He had been thrown over a guardrail. A belt and a small knife, recognized by his brother Skip, were found with him. During sentencing, both Blane and Susan apologized to Frank's family.
First, I'd like to address Mr. Bligh. And honestly tell you, you're right, sir, and I am sorry. I am not going to sit here and try to make any excuses for my actions. I don't know what happened. I honestly don't. It was a joke thing. You know what? I'm not going to make excuses. What I done was wrong. I'm very, very sorry. I'm very sorry for you and your family. Nothing I can say or do is going to change what happened. I wish I could. I truly wish I could. I would also like to say I'm sorry to my family, my wife, her family. I don't know Mr. Bligh if you knew Sue or not. She was very good friends with your brother, and she's not responsible for this. This was my actions alone. She's a victim. She was just simply scared to turn me in because the drugs that turned me into somebody that I'm not. I'm very ashamed of that. I pray every day that God will give you the strength and that to move on, start healing. Again, everybody, I'm sorry. I really am sorry.
I just wanted you to know that I've never heard anybody in my life. And Frank wasn't your friend of mine for many years. And I'm sorry I didn't get help. I don't see a day in the future that I won't be afraid. I'm not sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about me. So just very sorry. Need to be with my family.
After the hearing, Susan wrote a letter from prison to her daughter, Jada. In it, she claimed Frank had protected her. She said Frank saw bruises on her and told Blane to stop hurting her. She said Frank was always kind and respectful, just a good friend. Susan believed that Blane, who was using drugs, got angry and that started everything. She told Jada she was proud of her for sharing the story and said she had been too scared to speak up, afraid Blane might hurt her or her loved ones. But Frank's brother, Skip, didn't believe Susan's story and shared his doubts during her sentencing.
Friend, he trusted her with everything. And she took everything away from him, the way I look at it. She's the one that gave Blane all the tools that he needed to rob him, and steal him blind, and do whatever they did. And between the two of them, she's the one I have absolutely no value in at all. She's absolutely worthless in my book. And there's nothing else to say. I mean, she betrayed my brother, she betrayed our family, and she betrayed her own family.
Frank grew up in Gowan, Connecticut, a small town with about 3,000 people. He moved to Arizona years ago to get away from the cold. After his death, it took 3 painful years for his family to find his body. In May 2022, they finally brought him home. Frank was laid to rest on a cloudy, rainy day. An honor guard came to his funeral to show respect for his military service. A bugle played a special goodbye song for veterans at the memorial. If you enjoyed this video, please like it to support our channel and subscribe for more great content. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next upload. Thanks for watching.